up in the sky. Look, it's captivating. It's energizing. It's Eliances Heroes. Eliances is the destination for entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, inventors, leaders, celebrities, and startups, where our heroes in business align. Now, here's your host flying in, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
That's right. And again, you know what? I'm just so honored to have the privilege, because it is a privilege, to interview the most incredible people that exist, where we always learn secrets from them. And I really appreciate the feedback we continue to have when I had on the founder of John Paul Mitchell Systems. That's right. Make sure you go ahead and check out that episode with John Paul DeJoria by going to Eliances.com, because as you all know, it is the only place where entrepreneurs align. Well, we've got an exciting episode with you today, and you're just going to be blown away by, first of all, what they're doing and also their background on them. So let's go ahead. Let's bring them on. We've got 3 different people we're going to be talking to at once here, so this is going to be great. First of all, we got Zeke Bronfman. Zeke, you're the SESH co-founder, CEO, and chairman. Also, we've got Nate Medow, SESH co-founder, president, and Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Zelnick Media Capital, and also the former chairman of CBS. You could reach them at drinksesh.com. That's drinksesh.com. And of course, we'll have it on our website.com. All right. Well, first of all, I want to get a little bit of background on each of you, because you really have some pretty cool things going on in your background. Then we're going to talk about this drink session, how it's taken everything by storm. So let's first start off with you, Strauss. All right. First of all, you were the former chairman of CBS?
Yeah, for about 18 months, I served on the board and as chair of the board. I stepped down about a little over a year ago.
And then what have you been doing since?
Well, I'm the founder and managing partner of ZMC, and I'm the chairman and CEO of Take-Two Interactive, which is a leading video game company.
Pretty cool. You got a great background.
Well, thanks.
And then also too is okay. So Zeke Bronfman, talk to us a little bit about your background too, and kind of your family legacy.
Yeah, so this is my first venture in the space. Nate and I met when we were in college, and this is our first foray into the beverage alcohol space. I am lucky to have an unbelievable legacy of my family who was in the beverage alcohol industry for the last 4 generations. But this is a business that, we are doing independent of that, and something that we are doing on our own, and very lucky to have that guidance and legacy behind us.
All right, Nate. So brief background on you too.
Yeah. So as Zeke mentioned, we met in college. This is our first foray into the venture world, and specifically the beverage alcohol world. I'm also a type 1 diabetic and have been for about 16 years now. Okay. All right.
So Zeke, talk to us now. How did this idea come about to create what you've got, which is Drink Sesh?
Yeah, so this concept came out of a very real problem that Nate and I experienced at school long before it turned into a business. And this problem was that, we were very frustrated by the lack of options on the beverage alcohol market when we were started going to these college events. And I grew up drinking gins and whiskeys with my grandfathers, so I shied away from beer and the other options that were there. And Nate has his own reasons for not choosing those.
Yeah. And so again, you mentioned about the Seagram's family and stuff like that. What kind of things have you learned though from them that you're bringing over to, build this company?
Certainly. Yeah. I think connecting with the consumer was sort of the number one thing that my grandfather always spoke about, instilled in me. And, you're not building products for yourselves. You're building products for the audience you're building it for. And we got very lucky because the audience we were building this product for was us and our friends. And so it gave us an incredible insight into what the consumer was actually looking for and how to authentically achieve that.
All right, so Strauss, we're going to talk about your wisdom. Talk to us about the wisdom that you're sharing with both of these guys, because you got a wealth of background. I mean, you're, a lot deeper than what we briefly just went over and stuff like that. But talk to us about what you're sharing with them, and also what others can learn who are listening and watching.
Well, look, I think the big story is that these guys have founded a business and they've created a great product, and that product is coming to market. And looks like it's going to be really successful and offers great taste and not too many calories and no sugar, and gives people what they want. So I'm really excited about what they're up to. In terms of what limited value I can share, an investor in the company, and I'm an advisor to the business along with a few other people. And what I think we've generally talked about, since I don't know much about beverages of any sort, I'm a media person, has been how to build the company from an HR point of view, leadership and general management. And with the capital they've raised, they've been able to build a team, and we spent a good deal of time talking about what that team should look like and how to make sure that this is sustainable in the context of the growth that they expect to have. So probably that's what, as an advisor, the area that we devote the most time to, since I really don't think I can offer much expertise on the alcohol part of the equation.
And Nate, what's the target market then for you guys?
It is I would say the young millennial, the 23 to 28-year-old, skewing slightly masculine, but we want this to be inclusive of everyone. We really think of this as a drink for anyone, but I would say on the younger millennial side, obviously LDA plus.
Now, again, any of you are welcome to jump in on this next one, but we've got some questions coming in. In such a competitive market, right, and trying to get shelf space and trying to get out there where you've got just millions of things. And you know, Zeke, right, from the Seagram's family, just right, it's still a challenge in that. How do you make your mark? How do you get into those stores, or how do you get noticed online and all that, where you're able to market to your specific target?
Yeah. So I think that starts with having a genuinely differentiated product that doesn't exist on the market and that consumers actually have a need for. And once you have that, you're able to demonstrate with strong data that we've had access to these retailers that we will add revenue, margin, and new customers into their stores based on this product that'll add new people new consumers into the spiked seltzer space. Consumers who previously shied away from it because didn't have enough flavor, didn't taste enough like alcohol, wasn't interesting and nuanced and complex enough. And now that enters a whole new world, just as we saw people begin to trade out of craft beer, out of light beer into more craft beers. We're seeing the exact same trend happen now, where people are beginning to trade out of the standard commoditized spiked seltzers and up and into a slightly more interesting premium option.
Yeah, well, that's incredible. Again, being able to launch this, and it sounds like you've got just an incredible team. And what's incredible here too is me having the opportunity to interview the three of you on the Eliances show, right? The only place where entrepreneurs align. So make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com, because as you know, it is the only place where entrepreneurs align. That's right, the only place where entrepreneurs align. And we've got with us Zeke Bronfman, SESH co-founder, CEO and chairman Nate Medow, SESH co-founder and president Strauss Zelnick. He's one of the advisor and former chairman of CBS and Zelnick Media Capital. You can go to drinksesh.com. That's DRINKSESH.com. That's right. And of course, we'll have it on our website and stuff of that. So talk to us about the vision too of the company. Any of you are welcome to, but where you ultimately want to go, right? When you're starting this company, you've got a lot of things happening at once, but what's the ultimate vision where you want to go to?
Yeah. So SESH is an incredible brand, and we see that building and becoming one of the top 10 seltzer hybrid cocktail beverages in the United States. We think nationally it can be a really significant brand. But on top of SESH, we've built an incredible infrastructure here of an amazing team, unbelievable and varied sales channels, great distribution network, and the ability to bring other products to market as well. And so when you think of a long-term goal, what we have here is we really want to build a portfolio company of better for you, better tasting brands that connect authentically with the consumer across many occasions and many liquids. So that's really where we see this going over the next couple of years, and we're really excited to make it happen.
So you've got other kind of products in the development then?
We do. We have another brand that we're going to bring to market early this summer, and then one that's a little farther down the line.
Awesome. All right, Nate. So talk to us more about too how you guys, how did you guys come up with the idea though? I mean, and you said you met Zeke in college?
Yeah, so Zeke and I met in college actually on the first day of classes. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm a type 1 diabetic and have been for a while. And one of the biggest things I always remember was not being able to eat the same foods as my friends, and always feeling like that was the point of differentiation from being normal, was I had to eat different things. And that went away a lot in high school and in the end of grade school as I got older and took care of my diabetes. But then when I got to college and started to drink beer or these other alcohols, that feeling started to come back where I couldn't consume a cocktail because, you have 29 grams of sugar or 30 carbs. And so I was always on the lookout for better tasting products that were low calorie, low carb, and low sugar. And there weren't a lot of those products on the market.
So Strauss, being the wisdom of the group here and all that, you probably remember when you were these guys' age and stuff of that. Is it easier or harder now to do a startup? And, what do you think?
Well, it's such a good question. It's always tempting to say, everything looked better in the good old days. I actually think that friction to starting a company now is lower because, we've learned in this pandemic how we have to work remotely. But even before, you could have a distributed workforce. You have technology at your fingertips, and there are numerous easy ways to get into business. It's also, I think, somewhat easier to raise venture capital today than it was years ago, because I think there's a ready market for it. But nothing's really easy. At the end of the day, all success is hard won. The only overnight successes are someone else's, and these guys are working really hard to build this company brick by brick. That's the only way they will be successful. So in that way, I don't think anything's really changed.
And also, too, is, we ask this sometimes to people that, like yourself and all that. What kind of wisdom, have you shared with these guys to keep them motivated and going? Because, doing a startup is difficult. There's a lot of barriers, a lot of challenges and stuff of that. But, I'm sure they come to you and they say, hey, how do we do this? How do you keep them motivated?
It's such a great question because, early stage companies, and I've started a few, always run into significant barriers. It's never easy to start anything. That said, I think Nate and Zeke have extraordinary motivation, and one of the questions they've never asked me is, how do we stay motivated? Or that hasn't been a problem. They're highly motivated, and they're very scrappy, and they solve problems. And I think actually, to the contrary, I've been incredibly impressed when they have run into some significant challenges, including the pandemic itself. They created some real challenges for them. The retail channel obviously was challenging, at least for a while. They're super resilient, and I think that ability to be resilient is correlated with success.
All right, Zeke, we're going to do some snooping in the room that you're in right now. I don't know if it's your office, bedroom, or whatever, but we're going to do some snooping right now. What's something unique or something that you like? I see some pictures, some different things in your office. What's something unique?
Something unique? Family photos, but I don't know how unique that is. But that's definitely something that I appreciate.
Excellent. All right, Nate, how about you? You got a bunch of pictures there. What do you like?
These are some, I think those are the Beatles, but I do have some in front of me. I have some good pictures of me when I was a young kid. So I think I'll go with those as well.
Awesome. All right. So how do our listeners and viewers, how do they go about purchasing SESH?
Yeah. So starting on Monday, if they're in New York, New Jersey, Ohio, and Illinois, they can go into their local store and should be there. We'll also be available at a number of big box chain retailers like Kroger, Binny's, Total Wine. We'll also be available online via GoPuff in those 4 markets. And starting on February 15th, we'll be available direct to consumer via SESH.com to over 25 states. So go online and buy some SESH.
And Nate and Zeke, since this is your first startup, what's something that you find very interesting in regards to starting a company?
You want to take this one, Nate?
Yeah, I feel like we both should, but I think that it's you wake up every morning and you're just so motivated. You're working 12, 15, 18-hour days, and there's always a new problem to solve, and there's never a clear solution. And I think that some people shy away from that, and it's very interesting for some people, and that's something that it wakes me up, and I know it wakes Zeke up as well. And I think that's just what's been so fascinating to me.
Yeah, and I'll add the incredible people we've met and all of the information we've learned have been probably the most valuable takeaways from this so far. Every single day we have meetings with people that teach us something, and that's really the most we can ask for. Excellent.
Well, Zeke and Nate, you created a better way to have a SESH. That's right, supporting consumers with better options and authentic flavor, lower calories, carb, lower calories. That's a hero. Zeke Bronfman and Nate Medow, supported by Strauss, Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two Interactive. That's right. You can go and reach them and get it at drinksesh.com. That's DRINKSESH.com. SESH.com. This has been David Kogan with the Eliances Hero Show.